the shimmering heat. I do hope you're doing okay in this summertime heatwave nonsense. I am coming to you live from yesterday. Does that make sense? Today for me is Wednesday. Today for you is Thursday if I schedule this thing properly. I have diary conflicts tomorrow, so I am ahead of things by at least 24 hours. So I hope that you're looking forward to a pleasant enough weekend, and I hope that this heat keeps itself under control. Today's live stream is going to be with a minimum of clicking because my fingers are sticky and I don't want to touch anything and it's all a bit much. So let's put this down to this is going to be a very efficient live stream full of the minimum of touching of hot computers. Right, let's have a look at what's on the cards today. So we're going to be looking at task of the week, and this week's task of the week is going to be putting together a custom report from scratch. We call them custom reports. They result in a spreadsheet being downloaded to your computer. So this task is getting data out of Consonance into a spreadsheet. And we're actually going to be segueing into Reporting Spotlight, doing the same thing. Once we've created our custom report, we are going to use it as the display of a report. So that will be quite seamless and elegant, no doubt. This week, the report from our own correspondence is about multi-part works. So we'll cover that later in more detail. And then just a little couple of things for what's new this week. We've extended our CPSIA capability, so I will show you where you can enjoy looking at that and filling it in for a rich metadata record. So let us crack on and let us, sticky fingers already, let us do our custom report run through. I'll go over to my development machine today. It's not because I've got anything much to show you, it's because I just happen to be here today, but here I am on my local development machine and I'm logged in as Feline Press, and I am going to be going to the main menu and looking at custom reports. So as we've looked at previously, I can laboriously move my mouse over here, or I can tap a few letters of the thing I'm looking for, hit tab once, hit enter once, and this is actually really good for not wanting to touch a hot computer too much. So all sorts of reasons why you might not want to use your fingers, and this is going to be one of them today. I'm going to add a new custom report, and when I was thinking about what sort of custom report we should build today, I was thinking, well, what are the usual suspects? And I went to a search engine and I typed in publishing metadata spreadsheet. And the first one that came back, which is a little cruel of me to now look at it, was from one of our data recipients that many of our customers have, called EBSCO. And so we are going to be looking at one of their templates and seeing how you could get data from Consonance into that particular shape. So I've added a new custom report and I'm going to click to edit that, and at the moment of course we have no columns. So the idea here is that we are setting up something that's a bit like a template. At this stage we're saying what are the columns in the spreadsheet that we are going to be wanting to see, and then later on in this sort of demo we're going to be filling in the rows, and we'll fill in the rows because it'll be the end point of a report. So that we'll search for certain products, those will be the rows, and the data from those products will go into the correct columns. I mean, I'm trying to describe with a blue pencil what a spreadsheet is. I think you know what a spreadsheet is. We're setting up the columns at this point, and then we'll be able to reuse it, you know, for different product search outcomes. So stop talking and get on with it. This report has 0 columns, add columns. So I click on that, and here is my enormous long list of columns that we could add. Long-time viewers of this channel will know that this is the list of data elements that we've been looking at for the last couple of weeks over on our new PDF generation area. So there's a lot of consistency here. If you've been thinking, or if you've been playing with the PDF generation stuff in the last couple of weeks, and you've been, using these custom report elements, exactly the same stuff we're going to be doing here. We can filter if I want to find prices, for instance, we can use this filter at the top to find only those elements that say prices. We can scroll down, we can check the boxes to add them and to take them away. So it's all hopefully becoming a bit familiar. But which elements are we going to pick today? So I'll take you over to whatever program I've got here, LibreOffice, perfectly acceptable alternative to other spreadsheet programs. And this is the thing that we're presented with. And I have to say, I was quite tickled and delighted when I saw this, because it's got some of the classic features of a publishing spreadsheet. In other words, it's trying to do a lot of things in a small amount of space. So each of these rows, when the person's filled this spreadsheet in, each row is going to be a work, product, ebook. I mean, it's all to play for, really, because some of the columns sort of pick different ideas from a lot of different parts of your sort of metadata model. The column B here, it says ebook, product, title. Okay, so I think they're looking for ebooks. We don't know yet whether that's going to be EPUB, Mobi, PDF, Kindle, something else, not sure. Then the next column along says PDF, ISBN. So you think, okay, so is the ebook the PDF? But then, the next column along is EPUB, ISBN. And then column F is print ISBN. So I am making the supposition that the rows here are actually works, but the main data that we're going to be hoiking out and putting onto the page is going to be EPUB related. And I've just skipped column E because it's publisher tracking ISBN, a parent ISBN that applies to no specific format of the ebook assigned at the title level. I mean, see the internet for my rants about how the word title is misappropriated in publishing, tends to be used to mean work. There is no such thing as an ISBN at the work level. An ISBN belongs to a product, but this is exactly why I wanted to use this spreadsheet. It brings together and thrusts in our face some of the things that you'll learn how metadata works. You'll learn the correct structure as proposed by the ONIX standard. And then you'll come to this and you'll think, what? So this is great that we're going to be doing this together today. So let's see if we can, maybe I can arrange my screen. Oh, it's a bit ambitious, isn't it? And just try and add in different bits of information. Oh, it's going to be a bit tricky. First one is publisher. Probably fairly okay. Publisher. The product's publisher. This is fine. Okay, I've added that to my list. What's next? Ebook product title. Okay, so let's add columns. Let's do title. And I'm going to say product title, because I think when we do our report to get these rows in, we are going to be getting a report of filtering on product form, bringing back only the EPUBs. So I'm fairly satisfied that product title will be okay. And do you see how it's going? We're sort of adding, we've got publisher, we've got product title. That means that on our spreadsheet, we've got publisher, ebook product title. Let's do this next one, PDF, ISBN. So add columns, PDF, ISBN. And sure enough, because this is not our first rodeo, we have added in this data element, ISBN 13 for PDF product. And we've got a few options here. We can just have it with no spacing, no formatting. We could have it with dashes, or we could have it with spaces. Let's see if this spreadsheet says anything. In particular, there's no notes. It says 13-digit preferred. One unique electronic ISBN. An electronic ISBN sounds so very futuristic, doesn't it? So we'll choose ISBN 13 for PDF product, and that'll be great. So from Consonance's point of view, it's going to be starting at the product level, which is, we're going to make it the EPUB. And then we are kind of going to hop sideways to talk to the siblings of this product. And we're going to say, from the ebook's point of view, are there any sibling products that are a PDF? And if so, what's its ISBN 13? So that's how we are getting that data. I'm only going to do a few more of these because I don't want to do the whole lot. But let's do the EPUB ISBN next. Type in EPUB. My fingers are so hot. Check that. Press save. Got EPUB. Back to here. Publisher tracking ISBN, i.e. a parent ISBN that applies to no specific format. So we do have this on the metadata page. If we hop over to the metadata page for a particular work, let's look at Cats Throughout History. I right mouse there and I've opened the page in a new tab so that I don't lose my place. I have to navigate back. So let's look at identifiers. You know, when you look at the identifiers bit, it's got product, ISBN. Makes sense. Let's click to edit, and we can see, sure enough, there's an identifying ISBN 13. And we rather pointedly say here, some systems require a work level ISBN 13, even though an ISBN 13 is a product level identifier. To accommodate this oddity, a very well-mannered way of describing it, select the best lead ISBN 13. So we are making it possible for you to play along with this odd thing. But here I haven't added anything in. And if you want to, you can do that. So let's go back to our EBSCO thing. Let's see if we've got anything in here. So identifying, we've got the digital object identifier. That's quite a good one, actually. Might choose that one instead. But what I was actually going to do here was to say, oh, we haven't got the identifier. What we can do in instances like this is insert a blank column or row. Because when we're getting data out into a spreadsheet, it's kind of an approach of last resort. We don't want to be sending CSVs and spreadsheets around in 2025. You know, we want something a bit more automated. So the very fact that we're sending data to somebody in a spreadsheet format means that we're in compromise land. And so sometimes I think it's just fine to get 90% of the way there on your custom report and then send it off into the ether. And the reason that we have this blank column or row is because it's quite annoying to have to do copying and pasting on the results of your report just to get it back into the spreadsheet. So when we come back here, when we've run our report, I'm going to be pasting in, and I don't want to then have to, you know, select all of this row, move it all over, etc. There's going to be a blank column. So we shall use this as an opportunity to show you how I do these things. Next up, we'll do print ISBN, publisher ID, and US price, I think. So let's scurry through that. Print ISBN, add columns. We can do ISBN, and there, sure enough, ISBN for the print product. I mean, there could be many more, couldn't there? There could be hardback, paperback, large print. But this is why we promote the Onyx standard first and foremost, and then if we need to, we're in compromise land here. Publisher product ID. It's fine. I'm going to say that's the system ID. That's our ID. Fine. Great. Add that. Yes, it's coming on. It's not taking too long, despite my, stopping every 5 minutes to complain. Then the next one is price USD, and this is exclude sales tax. So let's have a look. USD, current consumer RRP X tax. Sounds about right, doesn't it? And you can see there's a bunch of other types of the USD price expressed with different tax rates and different types of prices, should that be necessary. So the rest is all kind of much of a muchness. We could do discount codes. Publication year. Do you see how they've done why? Let's just, I don't know, you've seen it before. I'll just briefly show you. If you put pub date in here, pub date, you can see you've got all the different ways to lay out the year, the month, the different flavours. And if you put year in, I think it comes up the product's pub year, and that's going to be why. But we won't labour the point. This is looking great, and we've got our options here. So if we wanted to edit this, we can use the remove button. We can alternatively jump into the thing here, and there's nothing to stop us like clicking through, selecting multiple options, and then adding them all in one go. That's also quite useful to know. And if you get familiar with this page, then you're also magically familiar with creating custom elements for your marketing PDFs as well. So a bit of a 2-for-1 opportunity there. So that brings us to the end of our defining our custom report. So for form's sake, I will go back to our PowerPoint and say we have done our task of the week. Moving on, here is our reporting spotlight. We're going to use a custom report to emit our report results. So let's go and do that now. I'll go from our EBSCO page and we're going to type reporting, and I'm going to go press tab, and I'm going to press enter, fan myself whilst the page loads, and click on new report. And here we are, we're going to be running a query, setting up a search condition, which is going to return a bunch of products, and then we're going to get those into that custom report layout format. So I'm going to type product form, include any of, and I'm going to go for, digital probably. Digital will be electronic book text. That will get me, how many does that get me? 179 products. And then because, you might want to be sending this particular report to somebody like EBSCO because you're only sending EPUB formatted content files for a particular product. So I think it's safe to also say that the EPUB type, I spelled it wrong, EPUB type code is EPUB, and it's 029 in the Onyx standard, and that's going to whittle that down to even fewer. So you know how this works by now. I've run that report. This is all of the ebook type codes that are EPUB. And I'm looking at the top line results here. It's 175 products. And that is fine at a glance, of course, but I want to see the more granular information to start with. So I go top right here, choose a display, and I want to choose my product list. And that loads in all of the products. And you can see at a glance, here's the product form code, it's DG, these are all ebooks. And this is some, a generic report that contains a bunch of metadata for this. But we have our specific report set up, don't we? We've just done it. So let's see these same products expressed in that report format. So I go back to choose a display or action. I'm not choosing lists this time, I'm choosing batch actions. And in fact, no, I am going to choose lists. I'm going to choose lists, and I'm going to look at custom reports, and I'm going to choose product custom report because I want to see the results on the page first of all. If I want to export it, in case it's absolutely huge, and I want it to download to my machine in a spreadsheet file, then I can run it as a batch action. But now I can also run these things inline so that I can see straight away what's going on. So custom reports, product custom report. And I'm going to choose the one that we've just done, EBSCO. View custom report. And here is, you'll recognise these columns now, right? The publisher, the title, the ISBN for the PDF product, the ISBN for the blank column or row, ISBN 13 for the print, system product ID, and there's our USD current consumer RRP X tax. And so from this point, what I normally do, rather than downloading CSV, opening it in LibreOffice, copying and pasting into the template, renaming it, emailing it off, saying, hope you like your template. I click copy to clipboard, and then I go over to the template and I position my mouse and I hit Command V and I say yes to whatever they're asking there. And then here's my data put in, and it comes with the headers. So this is my chance to just triple check that there haven't been any hidden columns or something, that the data marries up to what I hoped was happening. Because, sometimes, if there are no PDF products, then this is going to be a blank column on its own. But, what are we going to do? We need to see the header there to understand that if there was data here, it would have been put in. And here is our blank row or column. So that's really nice that we've been able to put in just a sort of a placeholder blank column, and then we don't have to start faffing around reformatting this spreadsheet. So that's my job done. I can now, maybe delete this row now that I've checked it. Delete rows, great. And now I can email it off and be done with this task. And then the next time I need to come and run this report or a similar one for somebody else, my report is set up, my custom report is set up, and I can always retrieve it or add to it or change it from my custom report list. So that was our task plus reporting spotlight for the week. We've done a soup to nuts custom report run through. So do let me know if there are any interesting custom reports, like templates from other places that you have had to grapple with and had to reason with and try and map whatever someone's asking for to the realities of how your data is properly structured. Always interesting and always happy to help out. And on that note, what did we find in the mailbag this week of our own correspondence? And this week we got a really interesting query from a publisher who's doing an exciting publishing project next year, and they are going to be publishing a work so vast that they can't bind it in one volume. It's an absolute chonker. So they need to get the printer to print two different things, but it's one work, it's one product. What are they going to do? So I thought we would dive in to that and really enjoy looking at how to manage that. So this is what came through on the help desk. We have a book publishing next year that is comprised of 2 parts because of length. And the publisher has already decided that they're splitting it into 2 printed volumes. But they only want to assign one ISBN 13, and it will only ever be sold together. You can't, as a customer going into a bookshop, you can't just buy the first one. So, very, very sensibly, they got in touch to say any thoughts. And so here are our thoughts. As the conversation went on, as we were sort of clarifying exactly what the situation was, here's some other information that came to light. The publisher was keen to stress that they're not really volumes, they're parts. You can't, it's not that it's like a teacher and a student edition, and you could either buy the teacher edition or the student edition or a pack with the 2 of them in. No, it's effectively one book, but just because the printer can't bind it, they have to split it apart. So that was interesting. The other interesting thing is that the printer decided that shrink wrapping wouldn't be required. And I've omitted the printer's name here because it's the same printer that I use, and I've got an example of my own where shrink wrapping would have saved me a bit of a gnarly problem. So I'll show you that momentarily. And then the publisher was also keen to say, can I do this without separate ISBNs? So all good stuff to have a think about. So what did we say? First of all, we were because of my experience, we were a bit nervy about not shrink wrapping it. I mean, if these things should never be apart, you're sort of opening up scope for trouble there. So you should always assume that something odd is going to happen and you should mitigate for it. But also, where are you going to stick the ISBN, and where are you going to put the barcode, and what's going to scan? How does the cashier at the till know which entity to scan? We wanted to flag the risk there. And the customer, in fact, went on to say these are for sale in all of the normal places. It's not going to be sort of carefully moved through the supply chain. So, yeah, we did worry about the lack of shrink wrapping. And I'll show you my example of this. This gorgeous book that's actually kind of a bit velvet bound. Let me see if I can sort out this screen so that you can see me a little bit more. So I won't show you the full thing of it, but this is this gorgeous sort of velvety finish, which we didn't print on. It's just foil embossed on the front, and we needed to, somehow get the ISBN and the barcode onto it. And we talked to the printer and resorted to a sticker because it was a bit cheaper than shrink wrapping, quite frankly. Anyway, it was just a little bit perilous because the wrong ISBN 13 was printed on the sticker. And then when this book got shipped into Goods In at our distributor, it got scanned in and it got put in the slot that went along with the cheap version of this extremely expensive limited edition velvet bound collector's hardback. And so thousands of pounds were lost because they immediately all went out in dues on sale at a price that was about £100 less than it should have been. So, for future reference for me, I shouldn't have scrimped on the shrink wrapping price. I should have jolly well paid for shrink wrapping, and I potentially should have been a lot more controlling over checking that the right ISBN 13 was printed on the sticker. So it just goes to show, doesn't it? So, cautionary tale for you there. Err on the side of caution with these things because it's difficult to unpick them. So we asked about shrink wrapping, and in the end, the publisher did indeed go for shrink wrapping for safety's sake. So that's great news. So this is what we said to do in terms of the metadata. We said, this is what you need to do. You're going to have to create 3 hardback product records on the one work. The first hardback product record is going to be part 1. The second product record is going to be part 2. And the third product record is a product that represents that 2-pack. So it's 3 products, 1 work, and then just to avoid, not knowing which one is which, especially because the publisher didn't want to use separate ISBNs, make sure that you change the product titles so that you can see which is intended to represent each part. And then give the third, the set hardback, a product form description that reflects what the product form is, something like a set of 2 hardbacks. So that's the rough shape of what the solution is. And in Consonance, the thing that you do next is to say that the work that you've set up with these 3 products has product parts. And so you click on this box on the metadata page and you fill in accordingly which products form the parts of the set that you're setting up. The other thing is that you can say that the thing is shrink wrapped. So within the logistics area for the third hardback that represents the other 2 hardbacks, you say that the packaging is shrink wrapped. Great. And then Consonance takes care of the rest. So what do I mean takes care of the rest? It emits an Onyx message that reflects the reality of the situation. So this is a screenshot from the actual support ticket that we sent back, just a screenshot of this bit of Onyx Consonance does this, you don't have to do it, but because there are product parts involved, it knows that the product composition is reason code 10, which is multiple component retail product. It says that the product form is SD, so you'll be used to seeing BB for hardback and BC for paperback. Well, this is an exciting different one. It's SD, multiple component retail product, shrink wrapped, awesome. And then product packaging as well will get put in, the number 21, and that means shrink wrapped, and we saw that drop down a couple of slides back. So belt and braces there, making sure that everything is described correctly. But again, you don't have to know these codes. This is what Consonance will emit. And then the other bit of Onyx that it will emit is how the product parts are set up. So you can just about see here, we have got 2 product parts. See, there's the first one, and then there's the second one. And I've edited it so that I don't reveal what the actual title is. But this first product part is called A Great Book Part 1. The second one is called A Great Book Part 2. And those are the 2 parts of the product that's going out in Onyx. So yeah, quite an interesting example there of a not often used aspect of Onyx. But when you need to use it, don't you? The devil's always in the detail with these sorts of things. So some other examples of this I mentioned earlier, teacher-student packs. You can, in this instance, the client was very clear. They weren't going to be selling these parts individually, which is completely fine. But sometimes you might be grouping together into a set products that you do sell separately. So you might have a teacher edition and a student edition of a work. One could be hardback, one could be a paperback, or mixed media, and those could be bound into a twin pack. You could have a set of 10 of the same product. So you could have like a multi-pack, or 10 student versions with a bit of a discount on them. And then you would have your work, and it's got one product, and that's the set. And then you can add in other works' products. So it's all very malleable. But as ever, like I always say in this bit of the live stream, definitely get in touch and let us know what particular challenge you're facing in the moment, because it's lovely to be able to send a quick message back saying, do this, you'll get this Onyx, and then you'll have no unpleasantness. Just never let the printer sticker your book without checking. Hard-earned lessons. Right, what's new? There's quite a few new little things this week actually, but they're all a little bit tiny. The one I've chosen to highlight is that we've slightly changed the way that we're capturing CPSIA data. So CPSIA, it stands for the Consumer Product Safety Improvement Act. So it's North American specific, except within Onyx, it's actually globally relevant and encapsulates a number of different pieces of legislation. And it's useful for the EAA, it's useful for just, creating a decent metadata record, full stop. So let me show you in Consonance where you can now add ever more information about choking hazards, about flashing light hazards, all of the other sorts of warnings that you will want to flag in case your products are going to be of a potential hazardous nature. So here we are on Cats Throughout History. A paperback tends not to be a particularly hazardous product. But let's have a look to see whether that's true or not. So I'm going to, in fact, because it's hot, I'm going to type CPSIA, and that's going to limit down the options here. And you can see it's in product types. CPSIA, great. So I click in here, and scrolling to the end of the page here, you'll see that you can add this at product level, and you can add it for hardbacks, paperbacks, ebooks, and if there are any other types of product on this page, you can add these hazard warnings for any type of product. So that's really why this is in the What's New section. Previously, we reserved this for the products that we thought might most obviously represent a hazard, but we've raised it up so that now you are able to apply this at any product type level. And the other thing we've changed is that you can add more than one hazard warning because it's necessary. And we've added in a few validations as well to make sure that the data that you do put in is as robust as possible. Let me see if I can, sticky fingers. Can I do this? Yes. So let's look at the drop down here. And the first one is no known hazards or warnings. And you want to look at that and you want to think really hard. You want to read the legislation. And if that's true, that's great. But you might want to look at the rest of the options here. And this is a filter menu. So you can always type in strings that you might want to home in on, and it might say flashing hazard, or if we just scroll down the whole list, we could see things like choking hazards, whether there's a marble or not. There could be a long cord, there could be magnets, and there could be sound hazards and motion stimulation hazards as well. There's the California Proposition 65 one. So that's great to have in there as well, and so on and so forth. So you might think, well, if this wasn't a paperback, it'd be easier. But you might, there might be a magnet in a mixed media or a children's book or something, and so if I select that, and then if I attempt to save this area, it's going to say no. You can't have that. You can't say that there's no known hazard and there's a magnet hazard. So we've really tightened up the validations there so that the data that you enter goes through an extra level of scrutiny. But if I remove that no known hazard and press save, then that's great. I'm going to be able to do that. So let's go CPSIA. Yeah, so now I've got my useful information there, and that's going to go out in Onyx, and that's going to enable you to meet the requirements for legislation, both for your North American sales, but also for best practice and throughout the world. So that's why CPSIA is now up in product types, and it's why you can add them to all of your different products there. Definitely have a look at that, have a look at the options, so that when even if you haven't got anything now, maybe in the future, if you do a different sort of product, then you can remember, gosh, yes, that's a type of metadata that we need to add in. Oh, do I have the level of energy to get excited about a bonus power move? Yes, I do. Bonus power move for the week. Now, given that it's so hot, I'm going to imagine that you're there in a meeting, and a question floats past you, and somebody is wondering, how many products are we even publishing in the next 6 months? Do we have a clear handle on where we are with handovers to production? Do we have a clear idea of where we are with in terms of product quality? And you're hot, you don't want to touch the computer too much, but that there's a page in Consonance that's going to get you some very insightful answers very quickly with the minimum of moving around. And so let's have a look at seasons, so that when you are hot in a meeting and you need answers quick, you know where to go. So I'm going to type seasons in there, and I'm going to hit tab, and I'm going to hit enter, and we're going to go to seasons. And I'm going to click on Spring Summer 2024, which is as good as any. And I'm going to see a summary of all of the works and products that have been tagged as belonging to this season. So you'll notice that I've not done like a search for pub date. I haven't had to say, when we say spring summer 2024, what I mean is products published within, this date range. It's up to you to say what you think belongs in that season. And it could be that, yes, it's spring summer 2024, but we just wanted to hoik one work in from November because, we wanted to, for reasons, don't have to defend it. So this is a great way of grouping works and products together in a way that makes sense to you and reflects correctly the reality of your season. And look at the stuff that you can see. We've got a sense of how many works and products and contacts and series are involved in that season. We've got a sense of, what the marketing tiers are, different work types, project stage, are they all live? I mean, you'd think they would be in 2024, but if this was a season that was sort of coming up, we'd want to think, well, where are we along that, through that sort of lens of data? And we can see how the product form breaks down. We've got one audio book, most of them are print, and then we've got some electronic, and then we've got some things sort of flagged here that say, oh gosh, what's going on here? Why have we got these, why have we got some, worrying signs here? Like contributor insights. 3 of the contributors to the works within this season have got unspecified current residency. And if you care about saying, we want to be able to say when our contributors are from Canada or from Scotland or from a particular place, then we have an absence of data there, and that might bear looking at. We can see where we've got no contributors on a work, etc., etc. So, in this imaginary meeting, you might be sitting there and, somebody might say, what's going on with 2024 season? And you might sort of casually offer the idea that it's mainly lead titles, as they say, lead works. And they'd say, what do you mean lead? And you'd say, well, A star, the marketing tier has been put down as A star. Which ones are you talking about? Which products are you talking about? And so you can click through to explore marketing tiers, and this is going to take you to the reporting area. And then you can casually say, well, it's all cats are grey and cats throughout history. They're down as A star. And your colleagues are like, how do you know this? It's all right there, isn't it? At the touch of your fingertips. And you say, oh, well, you see, I'm a power user. I have got the power moves. Anyway, so seasons are really great for going in and having a look at that sort of summary level to see what work needs to be done, whether there are any problems, whether things are going well or badly or otherwise. And seasons are an option on the reporting areas, so we can click through and see these sorts of things, but we can also run more rich reports that have got other search conditions involved as well. So really, really good to nip into the main menu and look at seasons, give it a star, and keep abreast of how things are going at that sort of macro level. So much time we spend, don't we, down in the individual work and product level, but you have to come up and see the overall strategic overview from time to time. Fantastic. Do we have more on our list for this week? We do not. There are a few other things that are coming down the line that really are going to be very, very powerful indeed. We've got some useful stuff in the production run ordering arena. We've got some really great improvements in the royalty specifiers area. We've got some improvements for navigating through the reporting area. We've got ever more reporting options. I think we're up to about 700 possible reporting elements at the moment, and we're doing more and more and more each week, so that's really exciting. Keep your eye on the system notifications that come through on your account, won't you? Because we'll be keeping you up to date on how things are going on that sort of thing. But yes, I mean, I really hope that the weekend isn't too hot for you. I mean, it's really, honestly, cool here, and yet I'm still really very warm, and it's going to be quite punishing this week. So I will be thinking of you, and I will see you next week. Thanks so much.